Apparently, Visa's phone lines are being bombarded with people that are frustrated with the direction that Visa, MasterCard are taking their censorship. I have many posts to go over here. First one comes from Chibi Reviews, who says Visa is starting to get upset about the blowback that they've been getting thanks to censoring anime and game. Warms my heart to see the internet unite over this. And I will say, this is a bipartisan issue of the internet that it's been a long time since I've seen everyone agree on something. And this one is one of them. This is from Trepisfarian. They said, Visa card representative yelled at me. I called the phone number here and simply asked about the content guideline. I got, we've been getting thousands of calls. You've talked to someone? Who did you call? Other people accepted what I said. So why don't you? And tags Visa and says, Visa is cooked. Laughing my ass off. Now, again, when we always speak about this, I want to be very crystal clear. Be kind, professional. You get more bees with honey if you are to call them to voice your frustrations with the situation. Don't be a dick. Be kind. Just let them know that you don't like the direction that, if you feel this way, you don't like the direction that Visa and MasterCard are censoring the games that you'd like to play, and you feel like that's not their place. This comes to us from Lono Gear. They said, did what I could today, did some work, called Visa. The man was understanding, put me on hold for 25 minutes. When back, it was a new person who was very tired. I then repeated the whole story, and I could hear the sigh of energy draining when they knew what it was leading to. I am not a hero, just an extremely annoyed cat. If you see this, bother your local payment processor today. Make the point that this sucks. And YYX2B said, is this their strategy? To put people on hold for as long as possible? Likely not. Being put on hold is still taking up a line. They can't ignore it forever. The fact some are taking long can mean a lot of things. Being swamped with many calls, shifts changing, figuring things out in the background, etc. You're still wasting their resource. I do wonder if the strategy for them is to put people on hold for long periods of time in hopes that they just hang up. Because most people, if they're not really motivated, and if they just want to annoy them or take up time or whatever, they're going to call, be put on hold, and be like, hey, I tried, and then wait 5 minutes and hang up. It sounds to me like this is one of those situations where we are now finding out that this is their strategy. So you need to fight fire with fire. And I agree, Sergeant Sapient. It's called a holding strategy. They can hang up and then call back. True. But they might just be faced with the same situation again. We have Chaza Kitsune, who said, called Visa. Ask about the censorship. You need to email us so I can get a generic email. I'd like to speak to your manager. Please wait. Picks up. I'm about to transfer you. Okay. Okay, yes. You need to make an email. Hangs up. I'm telling you, Visa is not very happy with the situation right now. And they are definitely feeling it at the call centers. LRT, I called Visa. They said that the other inquiries, in quotes, line is actually just for stolen visas or Visa card requests, and gave me an email. MasterCard, bot directed me to the website, then ended the call. And this comes to us from Mercenary, who is in the chat right now. So shout out to Mercenary. And this is in response to Pirate Nation. Visa's reacting. Don't let up. It doesn't matter who, what, or how. Eventually, the thing will crack under enough force. Mercenary said, I would hope, but we're only getting at the low-level guys. We need to get to the people at the top. And CryptoFacts said, luckily, my job is kind of to find the emails of people at the top. So if anyone is so interested to reach the people at the top of the company, to not to spam them just to fill up their box, But to address them with a legitimate concern, and you feel like your concern is not being addressed by calling, these are some of the people at the top of Visa that you could write an email to and let them know about your frustrations. And this comes to us from Polygon, Patricia Hernandez, who says Visa and MasterCard are getting overwhelmed by gamer fury over censorship. Gamers are sending mass emails and phone calls to major payment processors in protest over Steam and itch.io. In wake of storefronts like Steam and Itch curbing the sale of adult games, irate fans have started an organized campaign against the payment processors that they believe are responsible for the crackdown. And if this was just the first time it was ever happening, I don't necessarily think the response would be as big as it is. I think the reason why it's so large right now is because this is not the first story on it. This happened to a company in, was it Japan? Was it December of 2024 that sold anime or manga and was completely shut down because they couldn't sell the stuff they were selling anymore, and they had to close down overnight. That story did not necessarily gain as much traction as I thought it would when I first reported on it, but people know about that. It's in the back of their head. And then this happened, and they're like, that is something that we don't want to see continue having dominoes fall. So that might be why people are like taking a big stand right now. Plus, Steam affects far more people, let's be honest. While the movement is still in the early stages, people are mobilizing with an eye towards overwhelming communication lines at companies like Visa and MasterCard in a way that will make the concern impossible to ignore. And here's the thing. I'm not typically someone that's just like, yeah, let's just clog up lines of something. But if they are refusing to listen to people, I think you got to fight fire with fire sometimes. And there's nothing illegal about voicing a concern and calling their helpline about it. That's what it's there for. On social media sites like Reddit and Blue Sky, people are urging one another to get into contact with Visa and MasterCard through emails and phone calls. Maybe, but I always stand by, be professional, be polite, and only reach out to them if you feel strongly about this. Don't just do it because everyone else is doing it. Visa and MasterCard have become the targets of interest because the affected storefronts both say their decisions around adult games were motivated by the danger of losing the ability to use major payment processors while selling games. These payment processors have their own rules regarding usage, but they are vaguely defined. But losing infrastructure like this could impact audiences well beyond those who care about sex games, spokespeople for Valve and Itch said. In a now deleted post on Steam subreddit with over 17,000 upvotes, commenters say that the customer service representatives for both payment processors seem to already be aware of the problem. Sometimes the representatives will say that they've gotten multiple calls on the subject of adult game censorship, but that they can't really do anything about it. They might not be able to do anything about it, but this being in the news is doing something about it. The folks applying pressure know that someone in the call center has limited power in a scenario like this one. Typically, agents are equipped to handle standard customer issues like payment fraud or credit card loss. But the point isn't to enact change through a specific phone call. It's to cause enough disruption that the ruckus theoretically starts costing payment processors money. Emails can be ignored, but a very, very long queue makes it nearly impossible for other clients to get in. Will help a lot as well. Reads the top comment on the Reddit thread. In the same thread, people say that they're hanging on to the call, even if the operator says that they'll experience multi-hour wait times, presumably caused by similar calls gunking up the lines. Okay, so this is how you know it's the hold strategy bullshit, because there ain't no way you need to be on hold for multiple hours after talking to someone, telling them what the issue is, if they have no power and there's no one there that can do anything. There's no reason to keep you on hold at that point. Beyond the stubbornness factor, the tactic is motivated by the knowledge that the customer service systems will put people who opt for callbacks in lower priority queue, as anyone who opts in likely doesn't have an emergency going on. Do both, one commenter suggests. Get the call back to gum up the callback queue, then call in again and wait for the come up to let you. Oh, God. People are also using email to voice their concerns directly to the executives at both Visa and MasterCard, payment processors. That activist group, Collective Shout, called out by name in their open letter requesting that adult games get pulled. Guys, we are fucking winning. This is great because we know exactly where it started, where it's going, and we're making a difference. This is amazing. This is amazing. They cannot ignore this. They're going to need to make a statement, and I would love the statement to be like, we are going to roll back what happened, the misunderstanding. That's I guarantee you they're going to use the word, it was a misunderstanding. And we're going to go back to allowing those things. Please stop calling. That would be amazing. Emails are also getting sent to customer service. In light of the coordinated effort, many people are getting a pre-written response that reads, "Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity from our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce." This is all a bullshit. Feel free to pause it and read it, but bullshit, blah, blah, blah. On platforms like Blue Sky, resources are being shared to help people know who to contact and how. Guys, even Blue Sky is uniting with X right now, including possible scripts for talking to representatives or sending emails. A website has been set up with the explicit purpose of arming concerned onlookers with the tools and knowledge necessary to do their part in the campaign. Even fucking Anna Valens, who this is someone that is a pariah that clings on to getting attention if it suits their need. It's the same person that tried to cancel Kirsha when they were at Vice. And now they're like, hey, now I'm on your side, guys. Work with me. I mean, hey, have at it, Anna, but I ain't fucking working with you. Go do your thing. Through it all, gamers are telling one another to remain cordial during exactly any interactions with the payment processors. Please remain cordial, especially when dealing with low-level workers who are just trying to do their job. I said this the other night. I used to work a call center at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I didn't deserve this, guys. Be nice to these people. For executives, the purpose of maintaining a considerate tone is to help the people in power take the issue seriously. The strategy is impressive in its depth and breadth of execution. While some charge in with an activist bent, others say they're pretending to be confused customers who want to know why they can't use Visa or MasterCard to buy their favorite game, which, by the way, not the worst strategy. Playing stupid is something that works a lot in this world. Meanwhile, Collective Shout, M-, the organization who originally complained to Steam, Visa, and MasterCard about adult games featuring non-consensual violence against women, M-, has also recently put out a statement of its own alongside the timeline events. We raised our objection to the grape and incest games Steam for months, and they ignored us for months, read the blog. We approached payment processors because Steam did not respond to us. Collective Shout claims that it only petitioned itch to pull games with sexualized violence or torture, but allegedly the storefront made its own decision to censor NSFW content site-wide. At current, itch has de-indexed games with adult themes. This was not their decision. It was not their own decision. They even called out Visa by name, if I recall correctly, when they were talking about why they de-indexed them. It was not their own decision. Like, what? The indie storefront is still in the middle of figuring out and outlining the rules for adult content on the website, but the net has been cast so wide that some games with LGBT themes are being impacted as well. That's how you know. Oh, the gay people. Oh, you're coming for our games now? Oh, okay. Actually, censorship is bad. Now it's bad. It was fine if you're going for everyone else's games, but our games? Oh, no, you can't do that. Another popular Reddit thread, users say the customer service reps are shifting from confusion to reiterating their concerns are being heard. I'll be calling them again in a few days to see if there's any progress in changing the situation, says the original poster. Perhaps a different comment in that thread summarizes the ordeal best. There's really only two things that can unite gamers: hate campaigns and gooning. I mean, I don't know if the word hate campaign would be the verbiage I would use. I would say de-escalation of censorship. That's not a hate campaign. This is the lefty lunatic saying, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to say it's a hate campaign, when at the end of the day, no, it's not a hate campaign at all. And we have one update from itch.io This is from Zuri Sama, and I quote tweeted said, "It states they are actively searching for alternative payment providers that will work with selling the content that Visa, MasterCard are not." And shout out to Zuri for the heads up on this. They tagged me. And this is from Itch. It says, "In the meantime, we are actively reaching out to other payment processors that are more willing to work with this kind of content." So I find this fascinating. If there are alternative payment methods to be able to, and they're like legitimate to be able to purchase these games, and that gets to be a big enough thing, then MasterCard and Visa are going to see that as competition and be like, fuck, we need to start allowing the purchase of these games because the other company's eating our lunch with this stuff. If it makes enough of a financial impact. Right now, it's way too small of a fish in a gigantic worldwide ocean that Visa and MasterCard are. But if it grows big enough, they're going to have to pay attention to it at some point. But I will leave that one there.